Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Roundtable event here on the Home Away from YouTube channel. We're joined by Dark Things and Jen on the panel and myself, and we are talking to the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Zirra, the gaming kaiju. Zirra, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good, mate. How are you going?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. And we've been wanting to do this for a little while now, so I'm glad we've got the time. I'm glad we sorted it out schedule wise. You just rolled out of bed, man. So like, happy Monday to you.
Yes, 8 o'clock in the morning, good to go. I've been excited to do this too.
Yeah.
So it's good that we've finally been able to knuckle something down and get it going.
For real, for real. Super excited. And you know, we're here. We're gonna ask you all these questions. We're gonna put you on the spot. So I think the first question really is, you know, what made you start your channel? What gave you the motivation to be a gaming, you know, YouTuber and all that kind of stuff? Like, what's your motivation? What's your passion?
Um, it all started really just as a concept of myself and my friends being able to share moments together from the games we were playing. At the time, we were playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online a lot.
Yeah.
And originally the channel wasn't just going to be my own. The concept was we were going to collectively have one channel to upload to, and we would individually have our own identities to that, but we would upload as a collective. Unfortunately, I was the only one uploading to that channel for the beginning of, and I kind of took it off on my own. It's just developed as it went on. It was kind of just, as I said, in the beginning, it was just a passion project where we wanted to make sure we had memories of the funny moments and stuff we were capturing. But as time has gone on, I've really developed a love for entertaining people. And I think that also comes from a background of having suffered from mental illness for quite some time. I've used YouTube as a creative platform to not only distract myself, but my philosophy as a content creator has always been, if I can bring happiness to somebody's life on days where I struggle to find happiness in my own, I feel a huge sense of accomplishment having done that. And you know, getting comments from people saying that, you know, they really love what I'm doing, you know, they love my energy, you know, that really keeps me going. So it's definitely been a transformative experience from start to finish, because I started about probably 7 or 8 years ago, give or take. But it's only probably been the last 4 to 5 years that it really clicked with me that I wanted to do this, you know, full time. I wanted to do this properly. So if you go back to the earlier days, it was very like scarce uploads here and there, and the quality wasn't all that high. But then there's kind of a point in time where the trajectory just goes from plateauing to going up, I feel, because I started taking things a little bit more seriously. So you obviously start investing more time and more effort. So that's where it all began. And I'm glad I went under that shift, because uploading content today is something that I love doing. I've got such a huge passion for it. So
Perfect. And you can see the passion that you do in your videos. You know, you can see the enthusiasm, you can see the joy that you have for doing it, and everything like that. And I mean, I've always said, like, for my own personal, and if I'm watching someone and they're enjoying the content they're making, then I'm going to enjoy it, because, you know, it does come through the screen in that way, and it's good that, you know, that you're still enjoying it even to this day, because like people fall off, people give up, and especially when you've been doing it for so long. You said like you're doing it like 7 years, so like that. I mean, a lot of people fall off within like the first couple, and it's like but it can clearly see that you're still enjoying it. You're still bringing new content. You're still bringing new, you know, your comedic value. Your own twist to everything, which is fantastic. But yeah, like I mean, it's one of them. Like I feel like along with content creation, like, do you feel it's saturated within the gaming world, in like the gaming community? Do you feel like you're trying to compete against everyone, or do you feel like you're kind of set your own kind of like grounds within it?
In the beginning, I would probably say when I went from just uploading for a couple of people to then getting some subscribers and then realizing people were wanting to watch what I was doing. In the beginning, I was really focused on numbers.
Yeah.
And obviously the gaming niche is not as niche as some people care to admit. It's probably the most saturated, or if not one of the most saturated kind of areas of YouTube. Everybody's doing it, especially through that COVID period, when people started streaming and everything else. So I've learnt to not get hung up on the numbers, not so much now. I just do it because I love doing it, and I know, you've got to learn to walk before you can run. So you're going to have days where you don't get the numbers you're looking for. You're going to have some days where the numbers are going to boom. And I think the introduction of things like YouTube Shorts and stuff has really helped my channel out a lot. Just being able to give like little previews and share little, tidbits about what I do kind of opens up the door to bringing people in. I feel the gaming niche as a whole, though, is only going to get more saturated as time goes on. So it's always going to be an uphill battle for somebody who has a passion for gaming and wants to upload gaming content. But if you can get I know YouTube is kind of a numbers game, because you are, at the end of the day, if you're looking at doing it as a full-time thing, and you're really driven to do it, the numbers are going to matter. If you're just doing it as a passion project and you're just uploading for the hell of it, maybe not so much. But I feel there's always going to be competition, and I feel that competition in some aspects is going to make you better, because you're going to see all the other content people are putting out, and it motivates you to improve your own content as well, because you're trying to stand out amongst the crowd. So that's kind of why I feel my content a little bit has shifted in formatting and just little things here and there that I do now that I didn't do, say, a year, 2 years ago, that have become more synonymous with myself, and now people recognize things that I do as my thing. Which I think really helps you as a brand and as an individual. So I'm still going to keep uploading content for as long as I can. But yeah, I feel if you're getting into the game now, you've got to get into the game in the mindset of knowing that you're running a million-mile race against millions of other people. And, you're going to fall over sometimes. You're going to stumble, but just stick with it. If you've got the passion to do it, you'll get to where you want to be.
That's it. It's all about the passion. It's all about, if you do get hung up on the numbers, then I feel that's where you're gonna trip up over yourself and everything like that. Like, I mean, I feel like people who do want to upload to YouTube always have that in the back of their minds, like, this can be something, even if it does start as a hobby or like a passion, But at the end of the day, as long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're putting your own twist on it, I mean, that'd be, thousands of people in the gaming community are going to play the same game. They're all going to play the newest game. Like, I was watching your Pal World videos, and instantly there was other ones that were playing Pal World that like popping up on my feed. I was like, I don't want to watch any of these people because I don't know. I don't. Zirra. Yeah, I want Zirra. Like, I'm not going to watch these people. I don't want to. I'm more interested in your take on it, your commentary, than I am in the game. Like, the way you present the games and things like that. The way, some of my favorite content creators, like, they've been, I watch them for them, not for the content they create, but because I've learned to appreciate them as people for what their presentation style, all that kind of stuff. And same goes to, like, anyone in like the WLC or anything like in here. Like, I'll watch specific people because I enjoy how they present themselves, how they present their information, and I'll watch the same stuff. Like, I'll watch like 5-6 videos of the same thing because I enjoy the people that present it.
Yep.
I'm rambling on much. Doug, have you got any questions?
Well, first of all, hey man, good to see you. Big fan.
Likewise. Thank you.
Make sure that when I watch your video, I try to let you know how much I appreciate what you put out. I'm going to resonate with what you said about being passionate about what we do here. It definitely shows in everything you do. But I think I've said that to you like over and over and over again. And there's no one like you. Yep. You're irreplaceable. It's definitely your brand. People are going to come to your channel to see what you, like what Zach says, what you have to offer. And I joined up and started watching you, joined up this away from YouTube right around the time the COVID scene started. Probably just a little bit before that bubble, but right around that time. And I think some of the first videos I started watching of yours were the LA Noir, I think it was. Like an LA Noir. I was watching that pretty heavily. Man, I got so wrapped up into that. I was so like, oh man, that's what's like, this guy's just resonating with me. So I think it is true. And what you say, so you have a pearl of wisdom that you're offering to people out there watching this. It is that 1,000,000-mile march with another 1,000,000 people. And your passion is what's going to carry you through. Just face it, there are so many detractors out there that if you're just in it for monetization and you're not in it for the actual art of crafting, something that people are going to want to watch, the numbers are not always going to be there. Like you said, they're going to balloon one day, other day, video is going to do dismal. Just from my own personal experience, I hit a topic that was hot. Some of my videos, first videos, getting thousands of views. I'm like, oh, I'm excited. And then as I move to another topic, the numbers go down. And you're like, oh, wait a second. What is it I'm doing? No, it's not really you doing anything different. It's that people aren't as intrigued with maybe the topic that or like a game that someone is playing.
Yeah.
And like to Zach's credit, I remember what he said. He said, people come. He didn't want to go watch anybody else about PAL. He wanted to watch you. Same. I was like, no, I'll just wait. Zirra's gonna have a video come out about PAL. I'm gonna get caught up in that.
Yeah.
I'll just wait. I want to hear from Zirra. You're my trusted source on lots of different games, or style of content. Because like I remember, it's not always the best thing to do to play a game just because it's the hot commodity. I remember I learned that the hard way. Right? When Valhalla came out, my son and I were convinced, oh, let's do Valhalla. Everybody's going to want to watch it. Not when there are 1,000,000 other people playing the game at the same time, promoting it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And we weren't doing it any differently, right? That was another thing with our channel. I was like, what are we doing different? Not really anything. So why would people tune into us?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
be different.
I think that, I think the issue with like the newer games as well, from like the bigger content creators like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, the big ones, they're going to get the game first. They're going to get the release like 2-3 days early, so then they can showcase it. So by the time smaller creators get the game, they've already completed it. So like people have already watched that. It's over for them. They're like, I'm ready for the new one. I'm ready for the next one. So it is, in that sense, it's hard to keep up with that, I think. And like, you play. I've always said when I used to do gaming and stuff, like play games that you love, or play games that you've been wanting to try. Your current series, the Retro Rewinded, Pokemon Colosseum. I love that game. That was one of my favorites growing up. And I haven't watched your series yet. I'm waiting for you to finish it so I can binge it, because I want to see I'm waiting to see how you find it from start to finish, because I've played that game. I know that game like the back of my hand. It was like one of the first games we got on the GameCube, and chef's kiss, 100%. So I am looking forward to watching that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I have a question. I have a question. Not too difficult, but Zach and I were in conversation yesterday, and we were talking about routines, right? Things that people do. And we were specifically talking about what we do to get ready when we're actually getting ready to do a video. Like Zach says, he likes to look the freshest, and I know it's the same for me. And I try to go through a routine before I get started. Do you have a routine for you get started for a video that you like to do? Just something that you do to make sure that you feel ready and pumped up and ready to go?
I love playing a little bit of music and just mellowing out a little bit before I get in the zone, kind of just set the mood. You know, I'll always go through a process of making sure that everything behind me is looking okay, if the camera's all good, you know, the lighting, everything else. But I think what really sets the tone for me and the personality that comes through is getting myself pumped up by listening to music I enjoy and kind of finding my center in that essence. But what really excites me as well about just gaming in general is just diving on into something that I've never played before. And 9 times out of 10, that is the case. Outside of Retro Rewind, everything I've been doing, minus maybe a game here or there, is always fresh.
Yeah.
Some of the retro games I play are games from my childhood. But as Zach just pointed out with the Pokemon Colosseum playthrough I'm currently doing, that's completely blind. It's something I didn't play as a kid. So that in itself kind of helps as routine in getting me prepared, because I'm excited to sit down and record what's going to happen next, because I don't know what's going to happen next. And just that innocence and that you know, childlike wonder of what's in the unknown really prepares me as well. But I definitely feel music is my main drive. I'll sit here and put a couple of songs on and just kind of find the groove, and I'll even play different types of music depending on the game I'm going to be recording, just to see if I need to find a different energy level, if that makes sense. So with the Suicide Squad that I've been recording with a couple of my friends, you know, I'll play a little bit of heavy metal just to get the blood pumping a little bit. If I'm doing a more mellow kind of playthrough, I might do some, you know, some slow jams or something like that. It's a process, but music has always driven me creatively, even outside of content creation, whether it's with my writing or I'm doing some art or something like that. It's always just, that's been my one grounding thing, and I always told of that. So I think it's important to have routine and have that one thing that helps you prepare, because there's going to be some days where you don't want to do content creation, especially if you find yourself in one of those ruts. You know, I've taken a step away a few times in the last 12 months, you know, be it a couple of days from uploading, because I feel you need to have a step back sometimes. So even having that as part of a routine, and just knowing in the back of your head it's okay to step away. You know, the people that support you are going to be there to support you regardless of whether you want to take a little bit of time off, and you know, so definitely feel routine's important. Do you guys have particular routines yourselves that you guys divulge with?
Yes. We were talking about this last night actually as well. So like for me personally, I like to get myself, so I have like a routine. So make sure my beard is nice, make sure my head's trimmed, make sure I've got a nice outfit on. I always spray. You can't smell me, but I need to smell nice. I like to put music on. I like to listen to a bit of music. Like music's helped me throughout the years with like my mental health and everything. So music is a massive thing for me. There isn't a time in the day where I'm not listening to music unless I'm unless I'm like recording something. Music is always on in the background regardless. And yeah, it's one of them where I like to prepare myself. I like to just relax, just take a moment and just like, this is what we're doing. I'm very structured with what I like to record as well. So I have like a specific, like, this is what I'm doing today. I like to have it kind of like, not by the minute, but kind of like, I know where I'm at in like the day of like, right, I need to record this, or I'm going to edit this today. Because I obviously with work and things like that, I'm very finite with the amount of time that I have during the weekend. So it's like, I need to be as productive as possible for like to get everything sorted, get everything done. So it's like it's one of them. It's routine for me. It might seem crazy, but like it works for me, and that's all that matters. Doug, how about you? Your routine?
It's been a fair stretch since I've done any real video game content. My son and I are going to get back to that, but like, for Reader Digest versions, we had to go to a completely different channel. So we're starting that journey over again. But for like gaming content, definitely music is something that he and I will both listen to. And because we bounce off each other when we do our gaming content, because that's a duo type thing.
Yeah.
We both have to be feeling one another. So making sure that there's no beef between us before we was important too, because that went sideways once. But just making sure in the gaming that I'm in a space where I'm ready to have fun.
Oh,
And the music helps with that. Now, when it comes to the other channel that I've been pushing now for Gangbusters since like December to present day, oddly enough, I will listen to, if I'm going to listen to music, I'm going to be listening to probably some pretty eerie type stuff. Or even soundtracks maybe from like a horror movie or mystery types like that will help put me in that mindset. Or if it's more of just like a mystery of an unsolved person, I'll go ahead and watch an old episode of Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Nice,
just to kind of get me there. Or I'll just find maybe there's a YouTuber out there I'll plug. I like watching her content. She doesn't need my help. She's way bigger than I am, but she goes by Seriously. And she does a lot of really cool stuff. And so I'll, like, for the same way I did with my gaming, with taking it from Zirra, finding something that was going to make it unique, brand. I kind of took cues from her about what can I do that's different about my channel, in the realm of that. So I'll listen to music. I'll watch something that is kind of true crime or mystery related, or I'll read. While I'm listening to music, like the little crime novels type stuff, just to kind of get me in the mood. And I will also coif my hair and, make sure I'm spraying some Banaka. I know no one can smell my breath, but, I don't want something go through the monitor and offend stuff like that to get ready. And I'll do some stretching, right? Before I get started. So, just little stretches like, make sure that I'm relaxed. Because when you're doing narration type stuff, feeling comfortable, it's gonna be because I don't have really anything but the video of my voice telling something, and I'll do like the little vocal exercises, like like make sure that my mouth is moving and I can articulate. I look ridiculous. I wouldn't want someone to have to see me do it while I'm doing that. But I go back to the old theater kid and do that stuff too.
Nice.
So I had a question for Zirra.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You talked about your journey at the beginning, how you weren't taking it seriously, and then that posture struck and you got serious and things changed. I continue to see your growth. Even today, I see you do different stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, he's going with this right now. But to someone who's just getting started out, other than it being a numbers game, what advice would you give somebody who's starting out, either be it what they're using to produce the content, like programs or whatnot? What advice would you give to someone coming into the scene?
Okay. I definitely feel, as we said, we've been speaking about numbers. I feel that we need to push the numbers to the back of our minds, especially if we're starting off early, and you're not going to have. Because I've always felt your first 100 subscribers are the most crucial, because I feel that's the hardest number to hit. Unless you become an overnight sensation and you upload a video that goes viral and you pick up a ton of subscribers off of it, your first 100 is probably going to be the long run in your journey. took me God knows how long to hit my first 100, but once I did hit that 100 mark, you know, it kind of opened up avenues for me, because I didn't think I'd get more than 10 subscribers. I honestly thought it was only ever going to be my friends that I was gaming with that were going to be subscribing and watching the content just to help myself out.
Yeah.
So I think definitely pushing the numbers to the back of your mind and just letting the passion for what you want to do take the lead. Social media is something I also recommend not relying upon, but using as a tool to promote your content. I didn't do that in the beginning, but now I've opened myself up to making sure I upload to Twitter, or X as it's known now. I make sure I always put something out on that for a new video, or if I'm doing a reaction video, because I've got a reaction channel on the side as well, I'll always do a little bit of a teaser that leading up to that video coming out, saying, hey, guess what, I've got a reaction video coming out at this time, swing by and check it out. TikTok's been a big one for me recently too, because I was uploading YouTube shorts and I was finding that some of them weren't performing as well as I was hoping. And then I figured, well, TikTok is kind of the same platform that YouTube Shorts is offering, just in a different format. So I've transitioned to taking that stuff to TikTok as well. And I've been finding a lot of people have been coming from TikTok to now watch my content. So
nice.
Definitely leaning into promoting on social media is something I highly suggest as well. Again, especially if it's in this gaming niche, you're going to be, you know, I wouldn't say fighting to survive, but it's very much the process of thinking, you know, if you don't try to get ahead of the pack a little bit in some way, shape or form, you might struggle to break away for that period of time. So you need to really lend yourself to opportunities like promotion, or even with the group we've got here on Discord, you know, being able to share your content and, you know, help each other out in that essence as well. You know, networking, collaboration, things like that really do help out. And I'm not at all suggesting things like sub for sub or anything like that, because I've always been against that.
Yeah.
That's a trap I fell into early on in my channel's infancy, because I didn't realize at the time that it was such a bad thing. I thought, oh, okay, if this person's wanting to support me, then I'll support them back. But the process of that becomes, they're not wanting to support you, they just want an extra number for themselves. And once they get that number, then they've achieved what they're looking for. You know, you might have a number on your channel, but you're not getting that metric. You're not getting that view, that like, that comment that you want to be getting.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend steering away from that kind of stuff, but don't be scared to network with other people. You know, I know some people might be against what we do in the Discord here, you know, with posting our videos up and sharing, but we do it in a way that it's not forced. It's something that you can elect to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel that I've made connection with the people that do upload in our group. And even on Facebook, in some groups I upload to, some of those people are now just watching my content as soon as it's uploaded, outside of having to post it in those groups, because they've come to appreciate the content I'm doing. So it's just a process of allowing your passion to take the lead. Don't be scared to, you know, network with people and broaden your horizons a little bit in that aspect. And I think the biggest thing I would tell people is, and I've touched on it already, speaking to the both of you, is to step away if you feel you're burnt out or you need to hit reset. The worst thing you want to do is feel that burnout, but still try to push content, because people are going to notice that something's up. You know, they as Zach said, you know, being able to watch you through a screen, you can pick up on the energy that person's putting out. That's a big reason why my content has now shifted to having a webcam for all the content I do, as opposed to just some of the content I was doing, because I feel that way people can physically see how I'm responding instead of just hearing it in my voice. So you're going to be able to pick up on little things when people are burnt out. And in the past, there were some times where I was putting content out there and I was feeling absolutely terrible. And I feel you can pick up on that. So step away for as long as you need to. I'm always posting on my community tab if I step away saying, hey guys, sorry, I haven't uploaded, you know, something's going on. I just needed to hit reset. And, you know, everybody just comes back saying, you know, take as much time as you need. You know, you need time for yourself. And at the end of the day, that's what you need to remind yourself. You know, you're doing content creation because you love doing it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not just doing it to get monetized or anything like that, because I know there are many out there that are only getting into the YouTube game because they want to make money. And I feel that's the worst way to, it's the worst way to drive your content.
Because 100%.
If you've only got dollar signs in your mind, I feel you're not going to get anywhere, especially if you're a brand new channel and you're struggling to get, you know, your first 100 subscribers. You know, you've still got to grind out that extra, you know, couple of hundred to get anywhere. And I feel you need to have the right motivation, have the right drive. I don't think money is a drive for content creating or live streaming, and not just even in the gaming platform. I just think in general, just creating content, you need to have 100%. A passion for it. You can't rely on money coming through, because unfortunately, I don't think the people realize how scarce that money is when you do get to that point. You know, I've been monetized for a couple of years now, and I'm thankful for the money that comes through, because that money, when I do get it, funds the next video game I'm going to play. So it's a process where the YouTube monetization is continuously allowing me to bring content because I'm putting it straight back into the channel. But even then, I've seen comparisons to some other content creating friends of mine that are getting a lot more than I am, or a lot less than I am. So it's a battle, and people are thinking, oh, as soon as I'm monetized, I'm going to get hundreds of dollars, and you know, it's gonna change my life. It really is not going to change your life at all. It puts a little bit of extra money in the pocket, if you're lucky. So don't let money be a drive for what you're doing. Allow 100%. The passion to push you through.
100%.
I like that last part that you sold beyond the money, not being in it for the money. I think that's where a lot of people who come on, like, oh, I'm gonna go be a YouTuber and make money. It's gonna be the most easiest thing. So many things that go into producing that are not easy if you want to succeed and produce quality content.
100%. Like, you know,
and like you said, routine, being able to step away. One of the things that, and I don't know, I've been on your YouTube channel several times. I've never seen you have your schedule listed over there, I don't think. For us, we're not choosing to have a schedule so that we have that freedom to step away. I think some people are going to be used to us putting content out like gangbusters and then taking a step, like you said, away to recharge the batteries. Do you have a set schedule, Zirra? I mean, I know you post pretty regularly, but do you have a schedule?
I do. So the issue I was having a few years ago was I was uploading so many different games at the one time. I was doing, like, I'd play one game on a Monday, and then on the Tuesday I was uploading something different, and then on the Wednesday I was jumping back to the game that was going down on Monday, and I feel I was confusing the YouTube algorithm a hell of a lot because that content wasn't getting pushed, because I was bouncing around with so many different things. So I sat down and thought to myself, I've got to really like belt out a schedule here. I've got to focus down on what I want to do. And the schedule I've got in place currently is Monday to Friday, I focus on one specific modern game, and currently that is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, so that's that period. And then Saturdays and Sundays I allocate to the Retro Rewind, so on the weekends we throw it back to the older games and kind of take a step back from what's happening now and appreciate kind of the gaming journey that got us to where we are. Funnily enough, I had somebody on TikTok call me out because I was uploading Crash Bandicoot, like the original Crash Bandicoot, in 2023, and he couldn't get his head around the fact that, you know, with all these modern games we have available to us, I was playing a game from the 90s, and you know, that prompted me to put a video out that actually went really well, you know, just talking about the fact that uploading older games in the current spectrum, if anything, could be beneficial to people who want to step into the gaming niche, because you've got such a competition currently for all the newest, hottest games that are coming out, that if you take a step back and you want to play something that's a bit older, there's a market for people that'll watch that, because like myself, there are many games I didn't play as a kid. So, you know, Pokemon Colosseum, for example, that I'm playing now is a prime example of that. And I love mixing up content with games that I haven't played before, because I feel that adds to the, not this just the enjoyment for the people at home, but for the enjoyment myself, because I'm experiencing something that I could have as a child, but now I get to as an adult. And because I've developed a more analytic kind of mind, I can really appreciate what they were trying to do in that time, making those games, and kind of pick it apart internally. But I feel scheduling like I have for daily content has pigeonholed me a little bit, and it always makes me feel terrible if there's a day that comes around and I don't have content available, that I'm breaking my unwritten promise to the people that have come to the channel, because I'm like, hey, I upload daily, but hang on a minute, Zirra says he uploads daily, but he doesn't have a video out today. What's going on? So I always try to have a recording schedule in place as well, to kind of make sure that I've got X amount of videos done by a certain period of time. And I think the Suicide Squad series I'm doing now is a prime example, because I'm collaborating with 2 other friends of mine on that. One of which lives here in Australia and I've collaborated with many times before. But this particular series, I'm collaborating with Rockstar Pool 69 for the first time.
Nice.
And he lives across the water. So
lives in my neck of the woods.
Your neck of the woods. So we're doing recording sessions based upon having scheduled both of our time zones in. So he's jumping on at like 9-10 a.m, whereas myself and my other friend, we're sitting here at about 9-10 p.m. Getting ready to record. And we've got to make sure, you know, if I've got a 5-day block where I'm uploading, I've got to make sure, okay, if we're sitting down for this session, we need to record at least 5 episodes worth, otherwise I'm going to not have content. And that has happened during this process, and that's no fault of our own. We've just had some scheduling issues. But yeah, I definitely think a schedule helps if you want to be more full-time and you're taking it seriously. I think putting a schedule out there identifies to the people coming to your channel, okay, well, this is when I can expect this, or this is when I can expect that. But at the same time, the schedule is something I'm now adhering to more so than I did in the past. And I feel if you're going to set a schedule, you need to kind of stick to that as best as you can. There's no point telling your viewership that, hey, you know, I'm going to upload on these days, but then you don't get content out. So I find a lot of people like, oh, Tuesdays and Fridays, you're going to get a new video. You know, doing a couple of days a week in the beginning, I think is fine. Don't jump into the rabbit hole so quickly and do daily stuff, because that's it's going to burn you out quick, especially if you're just starting. I feel you need to be established, and you need to have that drive enough to want to do daily stuff. And I'm only pushing that because I want this channel to become something much bigger. I do have an end goal where I want to be, and I'm still a ways off from that. But I'm hoping having a schedule in place will help me on that journey.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with the routine. I like we were talking about, like, we have a routine to get ourselves ready. My routine, like my schedule is a Monday for a video and a podcast. So I try and do like I do 2 podcasts every month. I do 2 videos every month. I try and upload. Currently, I'm uploading an extra video where it's like a podcast clip to try and get some more little clicks on the videos and things like that to, you know, promote the podcast a little bit more. Podcasts are doing well on my end. It's just a little bit of, you know, some people, you know, to get those extra bits out there that I feel are more rewatchable than other parts of it. And I'm currently starting a new series, so that's going to be another upload day as well. So, I mean, like you say, you've got to have the drive to do it. You've got to have the passion. You've got to have the oomph to do it. And totally agree with, like, I mean, bulk recording, obviously to finite your time a little bit as well. I mean, if you can do that, like set a few hours a day to like do what you need to do and that kind of stuff. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like uploading and things like that, what do you recommend? Like, do you recommend? Obviously, you do daily. Do you find some videos during the week do better than other videos, or like, say, like a Tuesday does better than a Wednesday, or does it just depend on what you're playing, what you're doing? Like,
I think it definitely comes down to what you're playing as well. And it also comes down to how you dress that video. And when I say dress, I talk about how you title it, how the thumbnail looks, you know, because we obviously take things in visually, and on a platform like YouTube where you're getting so many videos thrown in your face, it's the videos that have visual appeal from that thumbnail that really draw you in, or, you know, clickbaiting some titles. Because funnily enough, if you look through my metrics, the best performing videos on my channel, or some of them, all have the word sex in the title. And it's kind of ironic, but for example, a video I did last year when I was playing Bully on the PS2 for my Retro Rewind. There was an episode where you're tasked to sneak into the girl's dorm and take a photo of a cheerleader while she's in the shower, right? So I clickbaited that title with taking photos of naked schoolgirls, right? And that video did not perform well. It maybe got 30 to 40 views, but from November last year to now, it has gone from 30 odd views to almost 3,000. It is out of nowhere, has just popped. Similarly with my Cyberpunk 2077 series I did, if I ever went down to Jig Street and paid for some services, those videos got thousands of views. And it's really funny to think that something so simple draws traction, but I've always made the joke with my friends that sex obviously sells, because every time I've used it at pushing point, even if it's for a, you know, comedic kind of thing, how I do it, it definitely outperforms everything else I do. But just generally on as a baseline, I think definitely what you choose to upload and what you're playing as a gamer definitely drives that. And, you know, my Suicide Squad series, again, I'll probably point to because it's the most freshest in my mind. I've got some videos that, you know, have 100 odd views, and then I've got one random video in the series that only has 30, 40 views, and I feel that's because that particular video, in relation to the other ones, doesn't really have much of a story push, and there wasn't really an angle that I could kind of manipulate when promoting that particular video to draw people in, whereas all the other ones are like, hey, this new villain's appearing, or we're going to go do this, and it's more appealing in that way because you're trying to draw people in to click, and if you don't have that clickable feature, that video is going to struggle a bit. But as I just pointed out, some videos you might only have a few views on, and then over time they're going to collectively grow. So the process I've now gotten my mindset into is not to worry on the immediate numbers, because with time those numbers will increase. My Hogwarts Legacy series, I've seen every video increase hundreds of views over the span of starting that game to now. So that's definitely another recommendation I give to any aspiring gamers, whether it be starting a channel now or currently in a situation where you've been uploading for a bit and you might be getting caught up on low viewership. Don't let that immediate number get you down. Use it as a tool to drive you forward. You know, if you're getting low views on something, look internally and ask yourself, maybe is there something you could have done better to push that better, and kind of use that as a catalyst to make sure the next video has something a little bit more to offer. And that's what I'm always actively doing. I'll always kind of reflect on the recording I've done. I'll skip through it all and I'll that could have been done a bit better, or there was opportunity to do or say something here and I didn't do so. So that then motivates me the next time to be a little bit more uplifted with my energy and kind of a little bit more over the top. So it might be overcompensating for what was lacking in a previous video, but I feel it works for me. And just the way I kind of banter and handle myself in certain situations. But definitely feel, I don't think the days of the week, maybe time that you upload, because YouTube indicated to me that my peak uploading time was between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. So I normally set my content to drop about 1 a.m. Australian time, which around the world is obviously going to drop at all different times. And I feel that in its own right, compared to what I was uploading a few years ago, has definitely improved as well, because I didn't have a set time I was uploading. I drop a video at this time or this time, and kind of you could see the views go up and down. So I think if you're going to schedule videos, try to find a sweet spot where you feel you can always have content ready for and upload to that time, because then people start getting in the process of, oh, okay, they're going to drop a video at this time. So they kind of start expecting that content to come out. I definitely think time more than the playing influence.
Perfect. I find the time, like some videos, like so I schedule my videos to come out around about 5 p.m. So like when people this time are like getting out of work and things like that, or like I try and do it for like Eastern time, so it's like 12 p.m. Eastern time, so it's like middle of the day for those, because I've looked at my analytics and most of my viewers are from America, because I do like Disney park content. I do like a lot, obviously I do Disney content, so it's going to appeal more to the masses of like Disney World of like the Eastern time. I was like, oh, why is this British dude talking about my park? What's going on here? But like, I feel like the I've tried loads of different times, and I feel like 5 p.m. my time, like GMT, works well for me. It does well, to be fair. And talking about the views that just come out of nowhere, like one of my latest videos did horrible. Like it got like 5 views, 6 views on like, it was like a trending topic within like the Disney community, and I was like, okay, fair, maybe it's run its course. And all of a sudden I checked my analytics last week and it was like over 100 views. I was like, there we go, ding ding ding. Like currently sitting at like just short of 250, and I'm like, wow, that came out of nowhere. So definitely, definitely keep, don't get hung up on the numbers. It's really not worth it. It's really not. I've been there in the past. As you probably all know, this is like my 4th channel, because the first one I started doing before it was the Golfer Gone Disney, it was kind of like just a regular it was Zach Does Things. So that was just an amalgamation of everything. I was like, people need to know everything I'm doing. Like everything was on camera. And then I did the gaming channel, and I was like, that was through the COVID and everything like that. I was like, yeah, I'm at home more. I enjoy playing games. And then that kind of like run its course, because I got back into work and I just didn't have time to play games and record like that. And then I tried to do daily vlogging, and I was like, that lasted about 3 months. So I was like, this is too much. It's too much to handle. I can't do daily stuff, especially with like being at work and like not having the time to do it. And then I came to this one, and this routine that I've got works well for me. It's it's all about finding that life balance. Like, I'm not going to put everything on the line. I'm not going to put everything online. Like, I don't want to. I've learnt my lesson from that. Like, you've got to have your own kind of like your own personal time. And I guess a question from that is like, obviously you do gaming and things. You have your reaction channel. I know you have a podcast that you've recently started, an AFL podcast, which Australian Football League, is that what it stands for, isn't it? Yeah. So like, you know, obviously you've that's your hobbies and things like that. But what do you do? Have you got anything that you do off camera that do you know that you keep to yourself?
Just touching on the other two channels I've got, I want to just make a point to people at home who might be starting up. If you're going to be a variety channel and you're going to upload different stuff, make sure you advertise that out of the gate, because the trap I fell into was I've always been a gaming channel, and then one day I felt like doing a reaction video, and then those reaction videos started doing better than the gaming stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started focusing more on reactions, and then I feel again I was confusing my viewership because they've come for gaming content, then all of a sudden I'm pushing reaction videos out for music and stuff. Which made me break away to doing the separate reaction channel. Which has blown up quite severely in shorter period of time. It's something I wish I'd done many moons ago, given the quick burst, and I think there's a bigger niche I feel in people wanting to see other people react to things. Weirdly enough, because those videos have been doing exceptionally well. It took me a couple of years to get to a point where, again, don't want to talk about money, but getting to that point of monetization with my gaming channel took me such a long period of time. I'm knocking on the door of that with my reaction channel already, and it's been 12 months. So
wow, nice. Congrats, man. Congrats.
That you know, awesome. Thank you. So just make sure that if you want to do different things and you're happy to do it on the one channel, do it, but don't kind of pigeonhole yourself into doing you know, I'm going to be a gamer, but then mixing things up and doing things differently, which is why I'm doing the AFL channel separately now too, because I do like weekly breakdowns during the season of how teams performed and stuff. But again, that's mixing into my gaming content, and it confuses the algorithm again, and then one form of content gets pushed more than the others. So definitely, if you're wanting to do different things, make sure you kind of have that mindset that some things are going to perform better than others.
Of course.
But stepping away from YouTube, I love to write. I've gone through and gotten qualifications in writing and editing. I used to work as a music journalist. So I'd go out to live gigs and do reviews, and I'd get opportunity to interview some you know, some band members from around the world, from different bands. To get to listen to some music a little bit early and do some album reviews and stuff like that. It's from my childhood that I was able to get the chance to work with, and some of their official Wikipedia pages actually have some of my quotes like within their wiki to say that I said X about their album, which is really uplifting for me. And that's why I said content creation for me goes further than YouTube, because I felt that music journalism was just an extension of my content creating. It was just on a different form. And I love the written form. I can speak anybody's ear off, but when it comes to writing, I'm pretty excessive. If I start, I can't stop. I'm in the process of trying to write my first ever novel. Which is going to be great if I can get that going. And I study full time as well, so I've got a full-time study load. And I'm in my 3rd year currently of studying to become a primary school teacher.
Wow, congrats, man.
That could kind of shift how my content creation goes moving forward, because if I end up teaching, then obviously that's going to take up a lot of my time. So it could very well be that my gaming stuff, instead of becoming daily uploads, could shift to maybe live streaming on weekends instead. But I've still got a couple of years to kind of preemptively prepare for that. But I'm definitely as excited about the stuff away from camera as I am on camera, because I'm always finding myself in positions where I can be creative. Even with my studies, I find ways to incorporate my content creating, especially if it's like, oh, you've got to do a video presentation. that's something that I know I can do well, because I find now I hold myself on camera a lot better than I did a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
YouTube has given me tools, and content creating has given me tools that I can use in everyday life. And I don't think people realize that kind of transformative journey. I'm really thankful for it, because I used to be this shy guy who you know, in the beginning I was struggling to talk on camera. Was finding myself a lot having to restart recordings because I was stumbling on words, or I didn't know what to say. And I think if you watched an earlier video of mine compared to now, it almost feels like two different people have uploaded that video. But it definitely lends itself to how I carry myself in real life. I've got more of an air about myself. I've got a lot more self-confidence in myself as well. And that namely comes from, you know, comments like what Doug said he leaves on my videos, you know, talking about, I think one of the most recent comments that I got was something very much along the lines of that if you could bottle my personality and purchase it, you would. You know, things like that carry more than just on the YouTube platform. Really helps you externally, like, and it carries yourself so much better. But I'm a busy guy, so as I said, I've got a daily content schedule set for gaming. Then I've got the reaction channel, which I keep saying, oh, I'll try to do a video every 1 to 2 weeks, but it's maybe a month in between videos at the moment, so I'm trying to fix that up. And we're 2 weeks away from the AFL season starting, and I haven't dropped any content on that channel yet, so I'm kind of in a position where I'm like, I really need to buckle down. Thankfully, I've got the next 3 weeks off of my studies, because I've finished that trimester of teaching, so I'm transitioning into the next. But that's when I find I'm at my best recording wise, because I've got that period of time where I'm like, I don't need to dedicate myself to anything else but content creation. But yeah, I'm a busy guy. I like to keep myself busy and keep the cogs turning.
We're very much alike.
Anything apart from work that you guys do, you know, you do outside of YouTube?
Go on, Doug, go on.
Actually, the stuff I do on YouTube is what I'm doing outside of work. It's kind of become it's not just my hobby, it's my passion, because I used to do theater, and I did theater professionally for a good while. Repertory regional theater in Denver, and I did amateur theater in almost every town I lived in for a long time, well into my late 20s. And then life lifes you, and you don't have opportunity, or your schedule doesn't permit you to participate in those things. So YouTube was kind of like my invitation to get a piece of that back. Present. I also can write. And with my new channel, the one I've been doing, I am writing almost all the content, the script. I'm not big into having AI do the work for me. I want to do it because I think if AI does the work, it's going to come across as disingenuous. You know, I want me to be presented. I do find that I like to do tabletop gaming with my son, so role playing. You don't necessarily see that online, but you know, I like to do that. I love to eat. And we were doing what Zach did also, that whole, well, let's let everybody see everything we do initially, and we kind of stepped away from that as well. But my son and you know, I enjoy my son's company. I am his dad first and foremost, but I would also say that he's probably become one of my closest friends. There's a friendship there, not just a parent-son relationship, and that might seem odd to some people. But you know, like I said, life will life you, and you learn to lean on each other through some stuff, and don't live a conventional or traditional life. So there's just stuff, you know, that's what happens. And then let's see, I like to go for walks. I like to people watch.
People watching this one.
I still enjoy the task, not task, but going to a movie, going to an actual movie theater, smelling the popcorn, sitting down in front of that big screen, and enjoying that context, because I think that there's a step away from that. I see society trending to streaming at home as opposed to going to the movie theater to watch. I mean, I'm still one of those guys. I liked the experience of going to a movie theater or to a live production.
Yeah.
I also like to cook. I love to plan out what I'm gonna make, get that recipe together, going getting the items, bringing it home, and presenting something for my family to eat, and they're gonna enjoy. And they say, "Oh, there's love in that." There's love in that food because you're like, "Yeah, I know. I put a lot of effort. There's love in that." But that's not. Yes, I know there's love in that food. I think the tabletop gaming is in the works because my son and I are working on our own role-playing game. I think I'm going to have somebody who's going to be helping with miniatures. Who, like you said, when you network, you meet people. I would have never met that individual outside of the YouTube verse or the Discord groups. Who will be helping with miniatures. And then I think the test group is going to come from people I've networked with and met through Discord and YouTube, who want to play those games. So just kind of that stuff. I like to sing, and I think through something I'm doing with Zach and Infamous or Roger, people are going to see the theatrical side of me, as well as I did stand-up comedy for a long time. With that, it can be dangerous though because I don't have a filter always. Have to be a little more careful because cancel culture. I don't want to get canceled before I get established. But yeah, those are my things. Those are my passions. That definitely writing, music, tabletop gaming, dining out.
Yeah, nice,
spending time with the wife who just did amazing long yawn over there. But that's my passion. And then I think am a cheerleader. I like to network with people, become their friend, and cheer them on. And I think I wouldn't say it's a hobby; it's just something that I am. An empath. If someone's going through something extra hard, I know that I can maybe push a little hard to be that voice of encouragement in the back of their head to let them know they're going to be okay. They're going to get through whatever they're going through. Or if they're just doing amazingly well, just hype it even more. It's like, let's ride this out. Because I'm aware, like I said, life will like you. You go on that roller coaster ride sometimes. And it's those connections that you make with people. Has been for me, even if it's just a small word of encouragement that gets you through that day or gets you over the hump or keeps you motivated to do stuff even when you're not motivated. Like when you need to produce content, but you're just not feeling it. Yeah. So maybe you need to step away for a little bit, but you do need to come back to it because the algorithm is an ugly thing and stops pushing your content. Yeah. So that's kind of just what I do. Nice. The music, the writing, reading, movie theater, food type stuff. And then and the content creation. So I'm even playing around now since I've got this thing that lets me, if my friends are willing, capture their voice. And then I don't need them per se to be present to do something. That's my one foray into AI I'm looking at. I want to produce like an online novella, but audio, like the old radio programs where you're not seeing people, but you're hearing the voices and it tells the story. I think I'm going to step into that next. So
nice. That sounds interesting. I love the sound of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
I mean, in terms for me, like hobbies wise, music is a big thing for me. Like I said previously, there's never a time where I'm not listening to music unless I'm busy recording something. There's always some form of music on. I mean, music's helped me a lot over the years and things like that. So like it's a big thing for me. I enjoy going out for a walk. I enjoy I make a day every Saturday to go out for a walk. You know, just to get a bit of fresh air, clear the mind off from the week and things like that. That's super important for me. Golf is something I like to do. Granted, the weather's shite at the moment, so it's not really playable because the courses are all waterlogged. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's when the season comes around, it's perfectly good. I enjoy reading, and again, just making content is a big thing for me as well. Like, I enjoy making the content. That's another hobby of mine that I enjoy doing. Like, always trying to think of ideas. What would I want to see on all that kind of stuff. So, cooking, I love cooking. It's I enjoy that. It's, I enjoy cooking for my family and things like that. That's a big thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't want to put online that I like to do. Obviously, you need that time for yourself, and I feel like that is important.
Absolutely.
To step away from the screens, and be like, okay. But yeah, I think that's a good thing to have. And I mean, keeping yourself busy. You mentioned you've got 3 channels running. You're doing all your studies and things. Very busy, man. I appreciate that. I too like to keep busy. So there's always I always have a set kind of like things that I want to do every day. So like today, I sat down to actually like record, do some editing, all that kind of stuff. And then yesterday I went out for a walk, did a little bit of recording yesterday as well in the evening and things like that. So, all that kind of stuff. So it's good to have that balance, I think. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
There is one thing, and I think Roger he brought this up. Roger would want me to ask this, but he is very interested in all of your collectibles at the back behind you and everything. I mean, I have seen a lot of them, and I can see the pops. I can see all of that. I'm a big fan of pops myself. Like I have loads like that you can't see. But like, what started the collection? Do you have more that's off screen in like a shelter somewhere that's like?
So growing up, I feel his tastes have influenced a lot. My genre come from him, my music came from him, and just growing up and always seeing collectibles, and he was more of a horror-based collector, so yeah. I would always grow up with Chucky Doll's house and stuff when I'd go visit. You can't see it, but if I move the camera a little bit, I've got Chucky stuff up there too.
Oh, nice. There is
plenty off camera that I've got. I've got a whole setup kind of in front of me where I've got Nintendo 64 set up there, and I've got all these other collectibles that range all above me.
Nice.
And I've got a locker full here. There's another shelf there. There's a cupboard over there full of stuff, and then I've still got stuff on order in that got a friend that's kind of storing in store for me because I can't bring it in yet. So it started with, I feel, just a couple of pop vinyls because I really got into pop vinyls, but I got into them late. So it was a few years after they started getting produced that I was like, hey, these things look kind of cool. I'm going to start collecting. And then I turned to more gaming stuff. So I've got a lot of PS2, PS1, Nintendo 64 stuff. And then as that it just expanded out to different things. And like if I had pops for a certain line and then I saw action figures for the same line, I'm like, well, I can get into that because I've got the pops to match. So it's a very slippery slope.
It is.
And it's a very expensive slope to fall down as well.
Absolutely.
But it's an extension of myself. And I'm constantly shifting things over here. With the Suicide Squad series I'm doing, you kind of get a better angle because I situate the camera in a different position so you can see more things behind me. But I'm always actively thinking about what to have kind of over here to push. obviously I love putting out stuff that my kids make and
Yeah.
showing, you know, that, you know, I always say to them, oh, you know, I'm going to have that on camera whenever I do a video to show, you know, how much I love having that there.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot more stuff from them to put out, but yeah, I don't think this collecting will stop. It's just at the moment it's a process of not having the room to store anything, so it's kind of temporarily on hold. But yeah, I've definitely got a lot that you can't see, but I'm thinking there might come a time where I dedicate a little video to just doing a little bit of a wander around the room, just to kind of show everything I do have, because the things I have range from current stuff to stuff that I collected as a kid, but then grew away from, but now I've gotten back into bringing back into my life again, just for that nostalgic feel. And like some of my prized possessions are all locked away in here, so they can't get touched. But I've got like action figures from the Resident Evil like first couple of games that are still in their card, perfect condition, all put away. I've got like original Metal Gear Solid figures still in their boxes as well, so I kind of like to keep those behind lock and key.
Yeah, of course,
because of how pricey they are. But yeah, it's just another extension of my passion. I feel. I feel I'm very visual with how I want to display myself. Especially being on camera, you want to kind of give some sort of indication to people that are watching the stuff you do.
Like who you are.
And now that I've got my bed in sight, I always actively try to make sure I've got my bed made, because the one thing you don't want to do is put content out and have a messy bed behind you. So I'm always like actively now thinking you gotta make sure you make your bed before we start. But I just love it. It's just another passion of mine. When I fall into something passionately, I fall into it deeply. You know, you both mentioned you love cooking. That's another extension of myself. I love as well. I love to cook. I love to feed people. You know, when you find something you're passionate about, you should really cling to that, because I feel we get so caught up on shortcomings and things that we can improve on that we don't really take the time to truly value what we can offer and what we do offer. So I like to lend myself to those experiences, and you know, just some people might not think that, you know, an adult man, you know, playing with toys or collecting toys is fascinating, but to me that's just an extension of growing up. I had the best upbringing that I had. But you know, I never had a lavish life where you could go out and, you know, get everything you wanted. You know, sometimes you went without. So now as an adult, now that you're in a position to get those things, it's almost like I'm rewarding my childhood self, if that makes any amount of sense. So that's about my collecting journey. Definitely nice. It's something I love.
Yeah, most definitely. I can totally agree. Like you know, we had a good upbringing with the terms of everything, but like in terms of like collecting things, it is certainly rewarding yourself for like, yes, I can get these now. I can afford it. I'm gonna buy it. For me personally, I'm quite picky with what I get. In terms of like my collectibles in general. I don't know why. I'm just very specific with like what I have out on my shelf. But I still have more in storage that I don't have on like display and things like that. I have like posters and God knows what else. But I totally get it. It is you know, it is an extension of yourself and who you are, and you know, it makes you who you are. You know what I mean? So, follow-up question: what is the most expensive collectible that you have?
Okay, I got to think here, because I had some pop vinyls just sitting around from like a WWE live show that came out here like years ago, and I didn't even have them on display. They were just tucked away, and I ended up selling them because I didn't realize how much they were worth. I do have a couple of things. Probably the most expensive pop vinyl I've got is my Captain Spaulding pop, and I feel that only gained value because Sid Haig passed away. So obviously, if you collect stuff where the person portraying that character passes, the value becomes a lot higher, especially if it's an older kind of collectible that you cannot get in recirculation.
100%.
So I think that pop alone is close to $400 or $500 Australian for a pop, and to think that you pay $20 for that pop when you buy it. But I've got tons of stuff. I've got like old WCW figures over there. I'm sure they're probably worth something now. They're just very eclectic. I've got like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff in there. The Metal Gear Solid stuff is probably about $300 a piece. Nice. So that's why I try to keep everything under lock and key, because I don't want anybody breaking in here and ransacking me, because there's a lot of there's a lot of money to be made if they successfully do so. So
that is very true.
I don't kind of care about the monetary value of things and where they're at, because if I do bring them into my collection and it's something I want to keep, it's something that doesn't really bother me all too much.
100%.
But obviously, if they do gain value, then it's just something that down the line that it gets passed on to my kids, and then they can do with whatever. If it's stuff that ends up gaining value, and then they can benefit from that when the time comes for it to be passed on to them, they can do so. And that's part of why I collect as well, because now it might not make sense to some, but I feel a lot of the stuff I do collect, given that you don't actively see it as much, like all my Lord of the Rings stuff or the Small Soldier stuff, which you definitely wouldn't see in this day and age. All my X-Men stuff up there, or the Street Sharks that I collect, or all the Walking Dead stuff. Those are lines that are only going to get more valuable with time.
100%.
And as I said, it takes up my space now, but puts money in my kids' pockets when they're older and they want to, pass that stuff on, or if they want to keep it. And at the end of the day, I'm always trying to set up avenues to assist them as best as I can, especially for when I'm not here anymore. So that's kind of like a driving force as well. But I'm always like looking out for like even cheap stuff, like going out to like Goodwills and stuff like that, trying to pick up little bits and pieces here and there. Like I don't care if something in my collection's worth $1 or $100. If I love it, I'm going to collect it. Totally agree. Yeah, that's the same with me. Like the back here, these plates are like they're valuable. I love them. I pick them up for I think honestly they pick them up for like 60 quid. These are worth like quite a lot. Like I think they were around. These were like one of the last things that were produced when Walt was alive. So I have a promotional poster for Song of the South that I picked up for cheap. That's worth a pretty penny. What else? Oh man, I don't even know. I have some crazy stuff. But again, it's not about the monetary stuff. It's about that I like it. I'm going to collect it. That's what makes it. And like you say, it's an extension of yourself and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. Doug, any questions? I think Doug's on mute.
Yeah, Doug,
Doug doesn't realize he's on
mute. You're muted.
Sorry, I just wanted to take the time to thank you for actually being with us. Taking the time out of your schedule and your life to sit down with us and talk with us. It's been a real pleasure.
I appreciate.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man.
I appreciate the opportunity to do this. I've as I said, I love networking and collaborating, and the chance to be able to kind of give a little bit of insight into my life as a content creator. It's been an experience. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. It's great that you took the time out of your day to do this. We've been wanting to do this for a while, like we said. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm glad that we got to do it. Super excited that we've done it. Let me think. I'm trying to think. I do have another question, actually. In terms of your like handle for YouTube, where did that come from? Like, obviously, it's a take on Godzilla, is it not?
Yes. Yeah. So I've gone under a transitional shift. So originally, when I first started gaming and gamer handles became a thing, I had the gamer handle Fueled by Darkness.
Okay.
But
that sounds epic.
It does. But when it came to wanting to upload to YouTube, I felt that I needed a name that would resonate a little bit more as its own entity.
Yeah.
And I went by Zirra for a long period of time.
Yeah, I remember you did.
But I had some people reach out to me with concerns that maybe that name wasn't really appropriate for some particular races that I felt maybe could be perceived as a racist kind of thing, even though it was never created for that intent.
Yeah, of course.
I don't create things to upset people like that. So, and for the most part, from that Zirra, people were just calling me Zirra anyway.
Yeah.
All the people I was gaming with were just using that as a nickname. People in my life here, in real life, external from the camera, still call me Zirra as well.
Yeah.
So when it came for the brand shift, which happened probably close to 2 years ago now,
has it been that long already?
Zirra was just So Zirra was obviously an easy switch because it was something that everyone was calling me anyway.
Yeah.
But I kept that gaming kaiju moniker with it because I feel Zirra on its own is a little bit too ambiguous of a name. It doesn't really direct you to what the content is about.
Of course,
and maybe the mystery could drive people to checking your channel out, maybe. But I felt having gaming kaiju there still kept links to the Godzilla kind of aspect of things.
Yeah.
Because Godzilla was the mascot for my channel since dog years ago.
Yeah.
But keeping that and, having the essence of this is who I am, but this is what I do kind of smashed together.
Yeah.
That's where that handle come from. The Zirra name was great because there was people that I was like random people I would game with in lobbies that they'd come across the name and they thought it was so hilarious that I captured it on camera just dying of laughter. And when I started getting that kind of feedback, it was like, this is something I could push as a brand.
Yeah.
Then I think the shift happened because of branding. I eventually want to be in a position where I can make merchandise and stuff like that. And I feel it was better to do that shift prior to all of that being in the works. So there's no misconceptions or anything like that. But yeah, that's how we got to where we are today. And obviously I shortened that on my gaming handle to Zirra TGK, just in short form. But yeah, I feel this is the identity that I've been wanting. I think it's the perfect kind of amalgamation, as I said, of who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
If that shifts in future, who knows? But I mean, even my reaction channel is known as Zirra Reacts. So they even know me over on that channel as Zirra. On the AFL podcast, I'm going to go by my real name, but I'm also going to, mention that, some of us might know me as Zirra because of the content I've put out before. So,
of course,
it's funny that something as simple as a gamer tag can become so synonymous with yourself in the real world. That I've even had people in different Facebook groups that I am outside of YouTube, like when I'm using my real name on social media, recognize me from the content I do, and they call me Zirra in those chats and in those groups.
Yeah.
So, having that identification in the real world is really affirming that what I'm doing and what I've done has cemented me in where I really want to be.
Nice, awesome, man. Yeah, it's good that you've solidified that name for yourself as like a nickname. I feel like once you've done that, you've kind of like made it a little bit like people know you for that name, and it kind of like creates that entity of yourself. Like it gives you that persona of like the camera personality and everything like that. Okay, so I was just saying to Doug, I only have really one question left before we wrap this up, and I just want to say a huge thank you again for taking the time out of your day. You know, waking up early and doing what you know, joining us here and everything. So my final question, Zirra, is what has been your favourite series to produce on any of your channels?
Oh, that's a great question. Really loved Cyberpunk 20, despite the globalized hate that game got.
Oh yeah.
I feel I must have been a version of that game from because I played it on the PS5 day one release and been into one bug the entire play.
Oh yeah.
So I incredibly lucky. I think though my favorite would have to be a combination of Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City.
Nice.
Only because if you go and watch those videos, instead of having a theme play, I was doing little Batman-based comedy skits to open up videos, and something I'd never done before, but something that there was one I didn't do it, and everybody in the comment section dragged me for not having that in the start of the video. So that was just, again, another extension of me and my personality, because I love having fun on camera. And if I have the chance to go absolutely stupid with it, poking fun at myself or someone else, I relish the opportunity to do so.
100%.
So I'd say probably those two, only because the creative process of kind of setting those up and looking at what I was going to do. And there's even one where my son in one of those with, like, he's wearing a Joker mask, and we do a little bit of banter between the two of us, and I slap the mask off his face, and like he really enjoyed like getting involved with that fact. So I think that's probably why it was so special to me as well. Just being able to get my son involved in the content. He has openly been telling me he wants to do YouTube when he's older, and
bless him.
I'm a firm believer of letting children run their own paths, and if they want to do something, you know, backing them up by doing it.
100%.
And he's always like, whenever he's with me, he'll always say, you know, oh, can we do a YouTube video? He'll be playing pretend off phone, saying that he's YouTubing.
Bless him.
I love to feel that I'm doing is influencing him positively as well. My daughter's still a little bit too young to kind of process that, but I'm hoping when she grows up, she has an appreciation for what Daddy is doing as well.
Most definitely.
I think definitely the best, which makes me realize I still have to do I still have to play Batman Arkham Knight, so that probably like a future thing that I dive into. But I think it was also it's a game that is it's held in so high regard for myself. I feel the Batman Arkham franchise is one of the best franchises we've had in gaming, especially modern gaming.
100%.
Especially with the backlash that Suicide Squad's been getting because it's not an Arkham game. So that just tells you how much the Arkham verse is valued by the fan base. So I'd probably say those two. If I had to pick, as for the retro stuff, I'm not 100% sure. Probably going back and playing the Resident Evil games again. Were my favorite to do, only because growing up, my love for gaming didn't just come from me being a gamer, but me a viewer. Because a lot of my earlier experiences were seeing my dad and my uncle game together. You know, they'd have work this morning, but they'd go down to the local video store, hire out a video game, and they'd still be, you know, my auntie would be calling at 3:40 finding out where my uncle is because still in front of the TV playing, you know, Silent Hill, the Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, you know, so probably have them to thank as well for my love for gaming, because growing up I used to just love being a viewer, sitting back and taking in what they were doing. And when I was old enough, it was my turn to then pick up the controller, and I already had that seed myself of my love for gaming, so it made transition from just being able to watch somebody to then playing myself so much greater. So probably the Resident Evil stuff for the retro.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, some amazing choices there as well, to be fair. Like, that's a good way to I think there's a good way to round it off. So yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you to Doug for joining as well. And you only got one job left to do. Plug yourself. Plug the crap out of yourself. Where can we find you?
Plug the crap out of my... Well, you can find me on YouTube, gaming Kaiju. The channels can be accessed from that channel as well. Zirra Reacts, AFL podcast come to Hip and Shoulder. Both of those are there. You can find me on Facebook, Zirra the Gaming Kaiju. On TikTok and Twitter, it's Zirra TGK. That's basically it. I don't do Instagram. I've got one, but I don't do it. I feel that's probably another social media I need to plug in again.
Yeah.
But I'm active, so feel free. And I've got a Discord as well. I can, if you want links for that, we can when needed. But I do have a Discord. You can find that in also actually in any of the videos I upload. All those links to check out. You want to hang out on a different form? It's all available. You can add me on PlayStation. You can add me on Nintendo Switch. If I've got the time to facilitate getting on gaming with people that want a game, I'm always to that as well. So feel free to.
Oh, it broke. I don't know what happened. No, it's fine. It's all good. It was it was lagging.
Yep.
No, all good. But yeah, feel free to go and check him out. I mean, 100%. You can't get the content anywhere else. Zirra has some amazing stuff.
Amazing content.
100%. Amazing stuff, man. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. And thank you, everyone here, for joining, watching, and being part of it, man. It's super fun. I'm so glad that we've got to do this, and I can't wait to get this out onto the channel and everything, and let people know who you're about, what you're about and everything, see the man behind the channel and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate it so much. Yep. And thank you once again for everyone for joining us. We will catch you next time over on the Homeway from YouTube channel. We'll see you later. Bye.